बुझे कि बसते से मैंने जो 300 टंका बुकेटा
He is the secretary of the Kit and Peace Society. He is our vice chancellor.
सर पीछे थोड़ा थोड़ा सर
Photon
Thank you.
कदाचित कालंदी तटविनादम
पिलाने केमती अच्छा भला अच्छी काटुची we are really blessed His Holiness and I know I have no right to invite Your Holiness for you have conquered the world through your great personality and compassion. However, lesser mortals like us don't know any other means to express his happiness than to accord a formal welcome to the greater share of today's conflicting world. I welcome you, Your Holiness, on behalf of the 27,000 children at KISS, on behalf of the staff, students, management of both KIT and KISS, on behalf of the entire gatherings on my behalf, I welcome you, His Holiness, the Dalai Lama, with all thanks and gratitude. It might appear a strange coincidence, but I think it is sheer destiny that Your Holiness came to liberate all of us from all our worries, anxiety, through His love and compassion. These 27,000 children of God, till date, were called the underprivileged children. have now been transformed to most privileged children because of His Holiness' presence and His Holiness' blessings. We are here to celebrate the 10th Keys Humanitarian Award to the distinguished personality we have been given for the last 10 years across the globe. So we are very much grateful and honored to His Holiness that His Holiness have been agreed to receive this 10th Keys Humanitarian Award in the premises of, in the midst of these 27,000 Keys children. We have been doing it for the last 10 years. I should not take much time telling so many things about this award or entire things, because all the materials have been distributed to His Holiness and to all of you. We are here just to get the blessings from His Holiness and to listen to His Holiness. So, it's our great pleasure that as we know, what we desire is not always what we get. But unknowingly, many times, we get things much more than what we expect. These are called blessings. And today we are getting the blessings of His Holiness, the Dalai Lama, which I have humbly expressed in 2015 at Dharamsala, when His Holiness was kind enough to give me more than 50 minutes to see the video clippings of Keys children and many other things. So today, we are very much happy and honored and obliged. His Holiness is present here. We are all waiting to listen to His Holiness and get His blessings. But my lovable Kishian, this day will not come in the coming 100 years as I foresee. This day will never come to Kiss campus or to all of us. We cannot match the love, affection, compassion in reciprocation to His Holiness, love, affection, and compassion. So it is my great pleasure, my lovable Kishian, we should give a huge standing ovation with gratitude and huge clappings to His Holiness because of His kind presence. ପିଲାମାନେ ତାଳି ହେଲା ନାହିଁ। Thank you very much, ପିଲାମାନେ। Thank you very much, sir, His Holiness. So now it is the time to confer or to celebrate the Keys Humanitarian Award.
Your struggle and sacrifices for the people, your compassion for everyone in the world have made you a beacon of hope, aspiration, and inspiration for the millions of people across the world who seek solace in your divine incarnation. Like Mahatma Gandhi, you had the courage to face the tribulations with peace, without even an iota of ill feeling for your detractors. Being above any material aspiration, you have been silently and reluctantly advocating for a cause in this country. Your acceptance of Nobel Prize on behalf of the oppressed everywhere and for all those who struggle for freedom and work for world peace demonstrates your concern for each and every single oppressed individual looking towards peace. With salutation to a towering personality, concern for the oppressed human beings from all over the world in need of compassion, the management of KISS Bhbaneswar unanimously resolves to confer on you the KISS Humanitarian Award 2017 on this day, the 21st November 2017.
respected elder brothers and sisters, and then mainly young brothers and sisters. I'm extremely happy meeting with several thousand young people. I always consider future is our hand. Past is past. No force can change past. But future still not yet come. So future depends present. So these young people, you are the people who really create new shape of future. Can you hear my broken English? Okay. Okay. So, I always mentioning generation of 20th century and generation of 21st century. All people here whose age is beyond, or say the 30s, we are the generation of 20th century. Our century gone. Now you are those people whose age below 20, 15. You are the generation of 21st century. Now 21st century, more than one decade passed, but remaining of this century still yet to come. So generation of 21st century, you have opportunity and also responsibility to create better future. Now I belong 20th century, generation of 20th century. Oh, my century. In spite some sort of remarkable thing, scientific sort of finding or advancement, or these things in economy and many things, but the 20th century, the previous century, truly become century of violence. And I really feel very sad. The brilliant human being, those scientists, their sort of brilliant brain utilized for destruction, like an atomic bomb. And as a matter of fact, in 20th century, 2 nuclear weapons used. One Nagasaki, one Hiroshima in Japan. I visited these 2 places. Oh, terrible. So therefore, now the 20th century, I think, in a way, sad century. Now, beginning of this 21st century, still killing, almost become normal. One human being killed by elephant or tiger, it becomes something shocking, news. But a human being killed by another human being, now more or less normal. This must change. Now this 21st century should be a century of peace. Peace not come from outside. Logically, The destroyer of peace is our anger, hatred, jealousy, too much self-centered attitude. So therefore, logically, firstly, we must create inner peace. Through inner peace, real world peace can achieve. So inner peace, I think everybody have the experience. When you develop anger, do you feel happy? So, see, angry person, even you see, may have all the best facility of material thing, but within the person, anger there could not get sound sleep, or angry person, very difficult to find trusted friend. And then, with anger, more irritation, and then violence come. So logically, how to reduce anger? We have to increase human love, human compassion. So I usually is describing or expressing this 21st century should be a century of compassion. There is possibility to create compassionate century. Why? Basic human nature is more compassionate. Now, some scientists, now they already, say, basic human nature is more compassionate. Wonderful. If basic human nature is anger, then no hope. Then better to, according to theistic religion, better to pray to God, please eliminate entire human being on this planet. But basic human nature is compassionate. Now scientists, they have sort of, sound reasons through their experiment. And then our common experience, the 7 billion human beings on this planet all come from their mother. All survived with mother's love, affection, and mother's milk. So therefore, that's how life starts. Then constant anger come, hatred come, or physical health much sort of spoil. So medical scientists, they say constant anger, constant hatred develop or too much stress, then eating our immune system. So therefore, this itself, you see, need more compassionate mind, not anger. So therefore, the basic human nature is more compassionate. Then if you use common sense, I think each of you, when you met someone, even a stranger, smiling, showing you human affection, then we immediately become good friends. Even your brothers, sisters, it's the same parent, but showing negative face, you feel uncomfortable. So therefore, and your neighbor, one neighbor, no matter how poor, but showing human affection, you feel a good neighbor. another neighbor, maybe millionaire, very rich, but never showing human affection, then you feel bad neighbor. So therefore, that's a human common sense. Then, as I mentioned briefly, scientific sort of finding, the basic human nature is more compassionate. So therefore, there is sufficient reason if we use our brain properly, holistically, realistically. Look, inner peace is very important. Anger, violence always bring disaster. Firstly, you lose your peace of mind, then you create, wherever you live, you create some kind of very unhappy, fearful atmosphere. So therefore, irrespective whether believe in religion or not, since our life starts with mother's love, so we must pay more attention about human love, human compassion. Now here I want to share with you the existing modern education. I feel inadequate. Existing modern education very much oriented about material value. So therefore, when we young, we very much sort of appreciate others' love, compassion. When we grown up with better education, modern education, then we neglect, you see, these inner value. Only power, money, fame, like that. So therefore, I always is now expressing, now education, the secular education should include about education, moral education. So now actually, with some scientists and also some university, such as Emory University in America, and also in India. You see, now, last few years, we actually carry some research. Moral ethics according secular way, how to put in secular education field. Now, I think next year, we can produce some kind of draft about education, about our inner value, strictly not based on religion, secular way. So I hope eventually, you see, your education institution, I think, should carry some kind of experiment like that. That's how I want to share with you. Then, now here, people, trouble area, less privileged, less privileged. So, 7 billion human beings, mentally, emotionally, physically, same. Within same human brothers, sisters, making some distinction. Some are a little bit sort of the better position, some are sort of lower. And now in this country, so-called caste system, outdated, totally wrong, old way of thinking. Similarly, some kind of look down or negligence about the rural underprivileged people. That's totally wrong. I think I myself come from a very small village. I think, and my family also quite ordinary farmer. So, unprivileged family, right? Unprivileged family. So, of course, my name also makes little differences, but mainly my own effort. I have self-confidence. So you also, mainly, you should keep self-confidence. We are same human being. Little differences in the society is secondary, not important. Important is all of us, all us, right? All of us, same human being, same brain. One occasion in Australia, South Africa, Soweto town, I met some native black African. Then I told, now you already have democratic constitution. So you have sort of same opportunity with white people, like white people. Now you must work hard with self-confidence. I mentioned to him. Then his answer, oh, black African, brain level inferior. We cannot compete with white people. I really shocked, and I argue with him. If we go together, the brain specialist asks any differences in brain due to color, the brain specialist, they definitely say no differences. So therefore, I argue with him. That kind of mental attitude is totally wrong. No scientific basis. We are same. So you should keep, I told him, you should keep sort of self-confidence. Then work hard. So here in this country also, some cases, people come from poorer section of the society, some kind of, sense of inferiority. That's totally wrong. Then, so please think, 7 billion human beings are same. Within the country, over 1 billion Indian, you all South Indian, East Indian, North Indian, West Indian, Central Indian, all same. So you should keep self-confidence. With that, hard work. Of course, during summer, too hot, in daytime you may need some rest. But basically, you should be hard-working. You should not be a little bit lazy. Should not do that. Okay, India, most populated democratic country, and very ancient nation. I think among Egyptian civilization, Chinese civilization, Indus Valley civilization, I think India, I think really produce most brilliant human being and very different, the philosophy, these things. So now here, we usually call Odisha Undibisha. I'm one of the practitioners who follow some great saint in Odisha. So while I carry some sort of meditation, some sort of visualization, different sort of tantric deities, tantric practice, they reflect those first or second preacher of these tradition. They refer the Odisha, this place. So now I actually come. Of course, in the past, a few occasions I came. Now this time, another occasion come here. Emotionally, I feel something. So therefore, this country, I think, really produce, I think, most brilliant people in this country, including Buddhist philosophy. All Buddhist masters in the past, all are Indian. No Tibetan, no Chinese, no Sri Lanka, no Thailand, no Burma. Buddhism comes from here, India. So Buddhism is your tradition. And then particularly, like Nalanda masters, all Nalanda masters are Indian, but their mind brilliant. See, their concept, now scientists also now, you see, showing admiration, like quantum physics, the Madhyamaka philosophy or Chitta philosophy, very similar that of quantum physics. But then the ancient Indian sort of philosophical view is much, much advanced than modern, or say, quantum physics. As a result of meeting with quantum physicists, they reach certain level, then we have the fuller knowledge how to go further. Then also psychology. Maybe sometimes I think too bold. I usually see as a describing a modern psychology, compare ancient Indian psychology, then modern psychology looks like a kindergarten level. The ancient Indian psychology highly developed. So now I want to share one important thing. Modern world lacking moral principle and lacking knowledge how to tackle our emotion, destructive emotion. In such sort of the situation, ancient Indian knowledge, not only ancient one, but also very relevant today's world. So, I think Indian who belongs to the 20th century, you neglected this knowledge. Now, young Indian belongs to 21st century. Now you should pay more attention about ancient Indian knowledge, about emotion, about mind. Then, firstly, you can build compassionate society. And then I think that's the best way, effective way to reduce corruption. India, religious nation, but the corruption quite bad. So, corruption without self-discipline, then these things, you see, happen. Then India can share with the rest of the world about the knowledge about our emotion and how to tackle our emotion. So, strictly secular way, without touching religion, I think Indian ancient knowledge really can be useful to modern world. So, one of my latest commitment is trying to revival of ancient Indian knowledge in modern India. So this, I feel, I usually say whenever I have opportunity, I mention these things. So, thank you, the Chancellor, Vice Chancellor of this. See, you give me this opportunity. Thank you very much. So now, that's all. Now here, I want to see one Buddhist sort of message. Since you see this ancient time, I think a lot of Buddhist sort of, what is it, traditions there. So here also is a Buddha statue also there. So statue is a statue, not important. Sometimes the people are very fond to make big statue. Of course, good, but anyway, waste of money. What we need, what important is Buddha's message, Buddha's teaching. In Tibetan tradition, over 300 volumes, all translated from Sanskrit and some extent some Pali. So these 300 volumes are the text of our study. So all come from India. So very, very useful. Now, here is the Buddha stated, "Oh, my follower, monks, scholars, should not accept my teaching out of faith, out of devotion, but rather thorough investigation and experiment." So, some of the Nalanda masters, such as Nagarjuna, Chandrakirti, Buddhapalita, these masters, actually, some Buddha's quotation, they rejected. If you accept this Buddha's teaching, it goes against the reason. Therefore, we have to take liberty to reject Buddha's own word. I think that is quite remarkable. But I never said Buddhism is best. I never said that. Best or not according individual mental, mental disposition. So we cannot say, like medicine, we cannot say, pick up one medicine, this is best, you cannot say. According illness, according condition of the patient, this medicine is best. Otherwise, you cannot say. Similarly, to some people, Buddhist way of thinking is very, I think maybe harmful. So I never said Buddhism is best religion. However, I think Buddhism general, particularly Sanskrit tradition and the Nalanda tradition, we totally rely on investigation and experiment. So that way of that tradition can go with modern science side by side. One time, I think the Einstein also, indicated that. Then last over 30 years, I have serious discussion with modern scientists, mainly in 4 fields: cosmology, neurobiology, physics, particularly quantum physics, then psychology. So our sort of discussion really eventually, become mutual benefit. We learn some good thing from scientists. And similarly, scientists really showing amazement. Some of the ancient Indian thoughts, the thinkers' view in these 4 fields. So therefore, you as an Indian, and the people in Odisha, you should feel proud. Okay, thank you.
This is a great pleasure for me, or auspicious occasion for me, or cherished memory for me, to be present on the same dais with His Holiness, which I had cherished for a long time. I feel fortunate to meet him, to be with him, to sit with him, and I thank you all my children for giving me this opportunity to share the same dais. I don't have any word to express my thanks to His Holiness, because he is a father figure who is the ambassador of peace, hope, and love. I think you will inculcate some of his teachings, that through love and peace we can eradicate most of the problems in the world which we are facing. These now we have to just curb our anger, and the main crux of his speech was love and peace. So through love and peace we can achieve a lot. So I am not taking much time. All in front of me were also facing the scorching sun. So I am thankful to all of you to have shared with us the blessings, the presence of His Holiness. I thank you all. Thank you.
Dalai Lama, and we are also grateful to Achyuta Samanta for he has organized a separate. Excuse me, mobile please, hello.
Madam, please, madam. Excuse me.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.